Welcome to a non-baseball episode of the Father and Son Pastime Podcast. I'm doing this one by myself. I'm seeing if we have any abilities in the world of college basketball. I don't know about you all, but I miss baseball, and every winter I kind of get into something that can just get me through the cold and the dark winter so I can get to baseball season. I got super into the World Cup, learned I don't know anything about soccer. I got super into college basketball. We're about to see if I know anything, if I learned anything in the past 3 months of watching college basketball. So I wanted to share my picks and predictions with you all, share some upsets, as well as give just a little bit of betting advice that I've kind of gleaned and learned over the past couple of months with like parlays and all that with college basketball. So if you're into baseball and college basketball, this could be the podcast for you. This could also be an absolute train wreck and our last video on basketball whatsoever. All right, let me get my bracket and we'll get started. All right. So, a couple things I want to get out right off the bat. If you're a betting person and your sportsbook allows you to take like a parlay on all the number one seeds, just do it. I know it happened once. I know everyone's going to talk about who's this year's at UMBC. Nobody is a real answer to that. Just go ahead and pick Alabama, Houston, Kansas, and Purdue. Don't think about it. Spend your time other places in your bracket. Now, going on to the 2 seeds. This is another piece of advice that I would say just go ahead and take all the 2 seeds. I know there's a couple options, and I know it happened last year and the year before. I don't know if Lightning's going to strike 3 times. Go ahead and put Texas, Arizona, Marquette, and UCLA in your bracket. Just push them in, and you won't have to worry and lose sleep over 15 over 2 seeds. If it happens, crazy. I don't think it will. Go ahead and do that. If you care about the first 4 games, if you bet on those at all, I know there's always like a first 4 team that seems to go far. I don't have that happening this year either. I can share those predictions if you really want, but I don't see any of them moving past their first win on the first 4. I think they all will lose in the round of 64. So those will just be easy things to not think about. Want to put them out early. In regards to betting, don't do any more parlays after that. It was a crazy world of college basketball this year. There really isn't a true dominant team, in my opinion. Not an easy Final Four. Like, this team goes right out, or easy Elite Eight. I think you ask 10 people their Final Four, 10 people their Elite Eight, they're going to have 10 different combinations. Okay, with that said, I kind of want to look at upsets, both, I guess, chalk upsets, as well as what not to take. Like, don't think about, like, this like, is this happening? Are we going to see a crazy, like, Memphis over Purdue upset? I know everyone's talking about that in the second round. I'll tell you some things to take, some things to not take. And again, like I said, this is going to be either extremely successful video where everyone's going to look back and be like, this kid should do basketball, not baseball podcast. Or I will get like 7 total right, and it'll just be an absolute train wreck. All right, let's look. All right, I have Alabama going to the Elite Eight, and that's it. I have Arizona coming out of that bracket. So there is the South. Upsets in that bracket: Charleston over San Diego State and Furman over Virginia. Both of those offenses are extremely potent. I know they're both ranked in like the top 25 offenses in the country, and I actually have College of Charleston coming out in the Sweet 16, but obviously losing to Alabama. Nothing else really major in that bracket to share. Creighton over Baylor, but everything else is pretty standard. I do have West Virginia beating Maryland. I'm from Maryland. We're a Maryland podcast, but just a very inconsistent team. Glad they're back in the tournament, but I don't have them winning that first game. In the East, I actually have Purdue coming out of this. I know that's chalky, and you're like, Patrick, what about the upsets? So all the upsets that lead up to Purdue getting in, I think if they don't happen, Purdue could be out early. So I don't want to say Purdue has an easy road. I don't think anyone has an easy road. But I don't have Memphis even beating Florida Atlantic. Everyone has Memphis like past them, beating Purdue, going far. I think that's a shocking 8-9 where the 9th seed wins as well. Everyone's like, Duke Purdue could be crazy. I don't have Duke getting out of the first round. Oral Roberts is on the biggest winning streak in college basketball right now. I said about a month ago, hey, whoever Oral Roberts faces in the first round, I'm picking them. Don't care who they face. Don't care if they face a 1 seed. That's how good they are. I knew they weren't going to be a 16 seed. They got Duke. They got one of the biggest blue bloods in college basketball history. I have Oral Roberts going to the Sweet 16, obviously facing up against Purdue and losing. A lot of people are taking Louisiana over Tennessee. I have Tennessee getting 1 game before losing to Oral Roberts. The rest of that bottom bracket's pretty chalk. I do have Kentucky moving to the Sweet 16 but losing to Marquette. Purdue Marquette could be a good game, but I like Purdue in that. Purdue Arizona. Finally, Zach Edey gets some challenge with some height. He's still taller than him, but Arizona beats them and goes to the national championship. So there's the left side of the bracket. We're going to do this under 10 minutes. Quick 10-minute video for everyone to watch and prep for their brackets. Okay, the Midwest. Houston, I think, does not deserve to be a number 1 seed. I know they have 31 wins. They just do not play in a competitive enough bracket, not a strong enough schedule, and I think they're out in the round of Sweet 16. 2, Indiana. Indiana, Miami could be a crazy game. People have Drake and Kent State, who are the Golden Flashes, as upsets. I don't. I think that top half of that bracket's extremely chalk. I have Auburn over Iowa. But Houston, Auburn, Miami, Indiana, Houston, and Indiana beating Houston going into the Elite Eight. Have some upsets in the bottom half of the bracket, though. That's where I think this Midwest could be completely crazy. I have Kennesaw State beating Xavier. I was not impressed with any of Xavier's play this year. Anytime I took a bet on them, they lost. Some of those 9 losses were pretty bad losses. So I have Kennesaw State facing Iowa State. Iowa State coming out of there, the Cyclones. Penn State faces Texas A&M. Penn State was kind of a bubble team and went really far in the Big Ten tournament. Almost beat Purdue. Ended up losing on because of a up and down call in the last 3 seconds. Kind of again, Purdue's just had really good luck. I don't think they've been the best team. They almost lost the Big Ten championship game on a big crazy comeback. Sorry to go off on that tangent. That was the last game before Selection Sunday. But I had Penn State beating Texas A&M and beating Texas. Penn State does mess with Texas. They go down. It's in Iowa, so it's not even in Texas. But I have them coming out. Penn State, Iowa State. Penn State versus Indiana. Another matchup of the Big Ten tournament. Penn State coming out of this one. Penn State in the Final Four. A 10 seed in the Final Four. I've never done that. Kansas, I love just to mess with Arkansas. I know it's Arkansas, but I think Kansas-Arkansas will be that the second round in the West. A lot of people are taking VCU over St. Mary's. I think that's the bad 5-12 to take. I think St. Mary's wins easily, but Iona beats UConn. With the exception of Marquette, apparently I'm not a Big East follower, but I love Rick Pitino, and I think this is just a statement piece for him to get to the Big East next season as a coach. I still think St. Mary's comes out of that Iona matchup in the second round. St. Mary's, Kansas advances. TCU, Gonzaga, Northwestern, UCLA, all kind of chalk picks. I love the Gonzaga-UCLA matchup for the Sweet 16. That sounds like a national championship. I know UCLA has been injured. They barely lost to Arizona while having 2 of their players down. UCLA to the Sweet 16, UCLA to beat Penn State, UCLA to win the championship. That's what you heard first. Going to be a crazy tournament. I hope you enjoy it. Either get a laugh out of this video or could wind up on ESPN. You never know. Thanks for watching.